Today's guest is someone I actually met when I was working at Cosmoprof, which feels like a completely different lifetime now in the best way. You know those people you cross paths with and instantly think there's something really grounded about them? And that was Alana for me. We weren't deep in each other's lives at the time, but she always had this calm, intentional energy that kind of stayed with me. So fast forward to now, and I've loved watching her step into her really powerful wellness and fitness journey and building a life she actually feels proud of living. And that's what I really wanted to talk about today. It's not just the highlights, it's becoming. It's the shifts, the mindset changes, and what it really looks like to create a life that's aligned from the inside out. So, Alana, welcome to Love in the Wild. And I'm so excited to talk about your journey.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I felt like as soon as I saw you post, like, looking for guests, I'm like, I could definitely talk about growth, change, becoming yourself, all of those things. That just like really resonates with me. It's very much where I'm at in life right now.
I love it. And I love like our corporate work calls
Yeah.
always used to start with like wellness, like what workouts we're doing, like what makeup we're into. And like
Mhm.
15 minutes in, we're like, okay, let's get down to work.
It's very professional. So if anybody's listening from work, it was very professional.
It's very professional. It's all industry insights.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I want to know, when did wellness and fitness become something you first started paying attention to?
So it's always been something kind of in the back of my mind, not necessarily at the forefront. I didn't grow up in an environment where health and wellness and fitness were prioritized in any way. I always was a chunky kid. I never really worked out regularly until maybe college. I took a yoga class and I just really loved that. And then I was sort of in and out of it. It just, like I said, it was just never like the priority, but I wanted it to be, and I would go in it there I just didn't have consistency, and then in the end of 2023, I got really sick and thought my appendix was bursting and it wasn't. It was my liver. My liver wasn't bursting. It was just I was something was not right with me,
Yeah.
and my doctor was basically like, "You need to take care of yourself, and, diet and exercise will help." And that was really the, like, wake-up call that I needed, that from that moment, I was like, "I'm changing everything." I started doing 75 soft. If you're familiar with 75 soft, there's 75 hard, and I was like, this is a girl going from, like, 0 to 100. It's like someone who, like, rarely worked out, and I'm like, "I need to start soft." And so I did 75 soft, and I started, I think it was January 6th of 2024, and that was the day that changed my life and changed everything.
Wow, you know the exact day.
I do know the exact, because I did a calendar. It was on my wall right here. Every day I had to mark off the day that passed and what activities I did I do everything I was supposed to do, and I did it for 75 days.
I'm so proud of you. That's
Thank
awesome.
you.
One thing I've really noticed, like in interviewing people, especially actually, like transcendent to like this entire podcast, everyone who had that kind of 180 shift that you're talking about, they all had like a health scare or like some internal thing where they were like, I actually need to start treating my body better.
Yeah.
And I don't know.
I needed it. I think it's almost that thing where you don't realize where you're at until something happens and you're like, "Oh, I really gotta do something about that." And that was me, I look back on photos. It's not about appearance. I know we'll talk about that later, but it's not about appearance, but that's really like the easiest variable to see, the kind of change to see. And I look at photos of myself, 6 years ago, and and until I started in 24, and I'm like, I didn't see myself differently, but seeing myself from now then, I'm like, "Oh my gosh," like, a shift completely. She's a different person.
What are some of the things? Because I know, and I've done this, like, I grew up in Orange County, California, I lived in
Yeah.
LA, and, like, looks were always, like, the forefront of my, like, wellness journey up until I had my health shift where I got diagnosed with hypothyroidism and, like, then I would, I don't want to be on meds forever. So I'm like trying to change my diet. I'm like doing the peptides. I'm like focusing on my cortisol levels. So like looks were always a thing for me. And I felt like when I went for looks, I never achieved it. Like I was never at, it almost like gave me this like body dysmorphia. So what, when you're looking back on your past self, like what are the differences that you see now versus or then that you do
Yeah.
now? Yeah.
It's definitely the mind shift. It definitely was going from I want to be, 'cause I also grew up in Orange County and San Diego County, and I've never been a small, petite, cute girl in the sense of like, like my peers. I was always like the chunky one, the odd one out. And I spent my whole life chasing something that literally I could not become. Like I don't know if you've seen that girl on TikTok that's like, if you're thinking about your body and it's like, I'm a corgi and I'm trying to look like a greyhound, like I'm never gonna look like a greyhound. I'm just gonna look like a sick corgi. And that like stuck with me
Yes.
because I'm like, wait, that's 1,000%. Like was always chasing something that just I couldn't exist in, and it wasn't realistic for me, and so it was so discouraging, and I wasn't finding joy in what I was attempting to do. Like,
Yeah.
I couldn't stay consistent. So, um, this round, because it really was sparked by a health scare, I think that the main thing was like, "Okay, this isn't about how I look. This isn't about anything aesthetic. Like, this is about the inside, and that is going to be the most important thing." So I think it was really that like little change that I needed to realize like this is more than just, the outside.
Right, it's not just a physical thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know today I was like, because I went gluten-free, dairy-free. I try my best to, like, limit alcohol and, like, get enough sleep, and today I was like, "Oh, I really want just some pasta." Like, I want a bowl of, like, carbs, and I ended up finding something that sufficed to where it was
Yeah.
still like a treat, but I wasn't dishonoring my own body because, like, when you have hypothyroidism,
Mhm.
when you eat gluten and dairy, it inflames your body, so then it triggers, like, your thyroid and all these things, so as a carb girly, it's very hard to
Yeah.
not eat the gluten, but I was like, "I have to continue sticking to this," like, and it wasn't for looks. I think now is when I care the least about looks. I'm like, I look at something and I'm like, I don't really like, that's not honoring my body to do that. It's not honoring my body to, have 3 glasses of wine or have a piece of cake. If I want it, sure. But if
Yeah.
I'm, like, on the fence, I'm like, I cannot. So,
I
it
feel that.
yeah. What what are the kind of workouts that you're absolutely loving right now? Because 'Cause you're in LA,
Ketone.
right?
I'm in LA, so I have access to all the hot
The
workouts.
mecca.
So because I started doing 75 soft, my original goal 2 years ago was I just had to move my body for a minimum of 30 minutes a day. It didn't matter what that was. I just had to move for 30 minutes. And that's because I'm starting from like zero. And so I started picking up just random things like I have the Peloton app and I have a bike and sometimes it'd be a bike ride. Sometimes it would be strength training on days where I did not wanna do anything. It's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go for a walk," or "I'm going to just do 30 minutes of yoga," and that was really how I got started, and every day was different. So every day was some form of activity, and then as the months went on and I started feeling a little more confident in myself, I started going to classes, and that's where my love for Pilates really started. I know, like, Pilates is, like, the hot everybody's into it, but it genuinely changed my life. I went to a Pilates class with a friend. I was like, wait, this is actually really fun. And then I went to one near me. I met this instructor who's the most incredible human, and she's so good at what she does. And I just saw her this morning, like 2 years later, and I'm still going to the same instructor at the same studio. I try all the Pilates studios in LA. I do like the Gree, Xformer, classical Pilates, and then I sprinkle in like I have a core power membership. So sometimes it's hot yoga or sculpt. I used to box, like, I used to go to this place called Box Union, so it's, like, just a boxing and hit kinda workout, and I would do that once a week, and I just picked that back up again, And then, yeah, walk. So that it's really, I mean, the variety is like every day is truly different. And I think that was something that I needed because the consistency, again, it's like if I forced
Yeah.
myself to do something that I didn't enjoy doing, I wasn't gonna stick with it. So it was like, how do I make this exciting every day? How do I do something different every single day?
Yep.
And yeah, 2 years later, I'm still like, it's become my hobby now, but it wasn't always like that. Look, I'll never forget day 9 of the 75
Oh
was the
my
day
gosh.
I sat there and I put my shoes on and I was like, I don't know how to do, I can't do this. Like, I'm done.
Yeah.
And I was like, "No, like, we've already gotten 9 days in." And I just remember, like, day 9, that was the day that I was gonna quit, and I did not allow myself to, and I just kept going, and now we're on day, I don't know, bazillion something.
600 and something.
Yeah.
So, what workout did you do on day 9?
I think it was on Peloton for sure, 'cause that was still in the beginning when I was, like, home and I was, like, still trying to get into the groove of
Yep.
things. I took a picture, I'll have to find you the photo 'cause I tried to document, like, as much as I felt comfortable with because I'm also someone who, like, I'm very sociable and I put myself out there quite a bit, and I like the accountability too of, like, being like, "I'm doing this," and I was like, "Oh my god," like, I don't wanna be that girl who's like, "I'm doing 75 soft," and then, like, 30 days later, saying, "Was she still doing that?" And so, I remember taking a photo of my shoes and being like, "Didn't wanna do it,"
Yep.
and I did that. I think it had to have been if I had my shoes on, that meant it was either a bike ride or it was like a strength training,
Okay.
one of those.
Yeah, I'm the same way, and that's actually how this podcast came out, is I wanted to do a podcast for probably 3 or 4 years now, and just kind of kept pushing it off, and it was like, "Oh, I'm too busy, I don't know how to do it." I'm, like, prepared Polly, so I wanna have, like, everything perfect and ready,
Yeah.
and one day I just posted it, and I was like, "I'm doing this, and I'm not letting myself down by being that girl that, like, quits or is, like, does 2 episodes." So, I completely feel you on that. I'm like, it's the accountability for me.
I need everyone to see me do it so that I'm like, "I gotta keep doing it."
Yes, and it makes me wonder, like, how many people like us are on social doing the same thing, and we see it as, like, a highlight reel or maybe, like, especially in the fitness world, like, bragging and I'm like, every time I see someone working out, it's not a competitive thing, but I'm like, "I should be doing that."
Yeah. It's inspirational.
It is, I think that's the right word for it, is, like, it inspires me, whereas I think some people are like, "Oh, that person's showing off," or "That person is,
But
like."
that's on healing, okay? That's on healing because
Yes,
I feel like I'm going through that right now, kind of realizing that, like, as I've grown, as my content has changed, and look, I got like 1,000 followers on Instagram, I'm not that serious, but like,
content is content.
but like as I'm posting and my content's changed a little bit more like fitness based or like, I posting like some before and afters because again that's like it's not about body or anything necessarily but it's really like that is a physical like that is proof in the pudding that I can
Yes.
see my progress and I've noted I actually thought so when I started I was like oh I'm gonna lose followers like people are gonna like we don't want to see that anymore and that probably happened, I just didn't notice, but I have noticed that over the last, I would say maybe a year since I've been a little bit more out and about, my followers have actually increased. Again, not that I like care much about followers, but it's like it's another variable, numerical kind of example of like I can see that since I started showing up as myself in a more authentic way and doing something that I enjoy doing, which is fitness and working out and like just having a good time in life that people are drawn to that and people are coming to my page they're following me I'm meeting people at workout studios at coffee shops and we're becoming insta friends and it's
Yes.
I'm building this community and I was talking to somebody about this the other day that like as we change, as we grow, people around us kind of tend to drop off because maybe
Mhm.
they don't see us the same way anymore. We've changed and they're not able to change with us. So your inner circle gets smaller, but your community gets bigger. And I resonated with that so deeply because that is very much how I feel that my inner circles become stronger, maybe a little
Yes.
smaller but my I have a big community of people around me now because I've just been my most authentic self.
Yeah, and, I work in social, so, like, seeing all of that, it really is, it's like the most authentic people are the people that you're drawn to.
Yeah.
Like, I remember being a new mom and seeing all these mom bloggers that had, like, perfect houses and, like, immaculate kitchens, and I was like, "That's not really me," you know? I struggled to show up as, like, a mom blogger years ago because I was like, "Well, I don't fit
Mm,
that route or whatever." And, I think the way that social is going now is people really do want community. They're like, "I don't like fake. I like authentic. I like messy. I like people that, maybe you would bucket them into one category, but they transcend in multiple categories." Like, you're like, "Oh, I love fitness, but then I also love, like,
yeah.
cheat days, and, I also hate heavy lifting." It's, like, okay to be a little fitness, a little this, and a little that, and you really do find your fun little community.
I agree, and I think that's something that's resonated too in my life and how I built community is that I am not someone who came from a fitness background, who worked out all the time, who had a perfect body and started posting about my wellness and my fitness. It really was a plus size girly who was nervous to go into a Pilates studio because nobody else looked like me. And normal person. I work a corporate job. Raise my cats. Like
Yeah.
I'm a wife. I'm a part of a family. I just happened to find a way to make this work for me in my life and become a hobby for me, but it wasn't like I don't know, it feels very natural, and I think that's why a lot of my community is like, I tend to influence people because I I didn't start somewhere, I wasn't already the aspiration. I was like a
Right.
completely different person and I've come to be this person, this version of myself over time. And a lot of these people have seen that change. And I think that's been inspiring that it can happen. You can be just your normal, everyday, average girl who's like, I think I'm just gonna start working out every day.
Yes.
And it's possible.
Yes, and that is truly what I love about you and your journey. Because I say it all the time, I'm like, "You can literally wake up tomorrow and say, 'I wanna be this person. I wanna be a country club girly. I wanna be, like, into emo pop. I wanna be into cars.'" Like, you can truly just, like, redesign, close a chapter, and start over.
Absolutely.
But people don't see that, they get stuck in the past of, "Well, these were the cards that I was dealt. This is where I come from. This is my unhealed pattern. These are my wounds. These are my traumas." And I love it because you're one of those examples. I try to preach it all the time. It's like, get into therapy, do what you love, and, like, that's what life is all about. It's just doing
Yeah.
what you love.
I love that you said that, get into therapy, because don't we all? Don't we all need that? And I will say, I will not to like give this big brand a shout out, but I started actually taking medication for my mental health. Like I did not know, to be honest, that I even had anxiety. I mean, I knew like I thought "Well, everybody has anxiety, and I ended up
Probably
going
got
to
terrible anxiety.
and I went to a psychiatrist and we started chatting and like come to find out, I just thought everyone lived the way that I did and like in my head was this way. Turns out I had anxiety and OCD and I'd had it my whole life.
Yeah.
And I was living life like that, and I had no idea because I just never voiced it because I didn't know that it was different, and come to find out after talking to this doctor, they, put me on fluoxetine, and that has also been an absolute game changer, and I feel strongly about, like, talking about it because I think there's still even to this day, there's a big stigma about, like, mental health and taking medication, and I will say, like, the minute I started taking that, I have evolved actually, I've not evolved, I've gone backwards to a
Okay.
version of myself that I was when I was maybe 19, uninhibited, like, just, like, loving life and being I have not felt more like myself, like, until I started this. And it's like this medicine just like took this years of buildup of trauma away from me and let me be my truest, most authentic self. And I love that. I'm not saying everybody needs medication to do that, but that's
Right.
what it took for me to get there. And I think if that's what it takes, that's what it takes. And we gotta do what we gotta do. And I'm an advocate for it now to
Yep.
it's like I'm so grateful that I went down that path. I just never I didn't even know. And then I discovered that I needed it. And then I'm like, wait, this is a
Yes.
complete life change. Like my life has changed since that moment when I started taking that medication in the best way.
Oh my gosh, I love that. I love that you are truly living, like, your best life.
Yeah. I just feel confident. I feel, you know, like it's funny because I can even look back on my social media or whatever, and I can see the moment that it set in that I started sort of like being lifted, like this weight was off my shoulders. And I started just like living really into like who I was and being myself and not caring and being like, I'm just going to post whatever I want. I used to be, oh, what are people going to think? What are they going to say? Like
Yep.
this or that, or, being like nervous to post something or to just go do something in public too, and once that little went away,
Yeah.
I'm living my best life. Like, what have
Last
I
breath
been
of it.
doing? And I'm like, I feel like I'm showing up better at work. I'm showing up better as a wife. I'm showing up better as a friend, as myself, as a family, like a daughter and sibling, like all of these things. I feel like I can now just live my more authentic self.
Oh, I love this. So I wanna kinda wanna go back to what you were talking about with, like, community and, like, how you've built such an amazing community. I've seen you doing events. What are you doing? Because I wanna touch on this. I know that you are such a mastermind, like, behind the scenes too. So, like, tell me a little bit about, what you're doing.
So it started as a birthday party, actually. I threw myself a birthday party last year. So, finding a little bit because I work out almost every day. I'm always trying to find like the new fun way to like exercise. How can I get my friends involved? No, it gets lonely sometimes when I'm doing it by myself. And I'm like, how do I expand my circle? How do I like, hey, you want to go work out with me at the studio, whatever. So I started going to events like on the beach with my friends, and we would do like Pilates on the beach. And so I wanted to do that for my birthday. I was like, okay, it's my birthday. And again, here I'm medicated. I'm ready to go. I'm like, I can do whatever I want. And I planned a birthday party at my favorite, like my home base. I call it my Pilates studio. And I invited my friends. And it was really like my first attempt, like dipping my toe into like, can I do this? And it was like a 45-minute Pilates class followed by a sound bath led by one of my dear friends. And then we had a floral bouquet building vendor. We had aura photos and a coffee matcha cart.
Cute.
I had gift bags made for everyone, customized it. Like, so that's very much something I would do. I got everyone socks that matched, like grip socks that matched their zodiac signs. And I got, when they signed up to RSVP for the event, I asked for like their sizes and their birthdays. So I got everyone their like angel number, like a necklace with their angel numbers on it. I got everyone a matching set from a sponsor. And I made these like sponsored gift bags. And it was just really fun and really fabulous. And we had the most wonderful day. And after that, I was like, okay, like I had a really, really good time putting that together. I want to keep doing this
Yeah.
and keep it, small, keep it fun, change it up for the themes. And so I've since done one other one around Valentine's Day, kind of Galentine's, if you will, called
Beautiful.
Self Love Sculpt. And I sold tickets out because the first one was very curated. It was like my toe, in the water to see, like,
Yep.
can I do this? So I was like, I think I like sold the tickets for this first one like $20. I was like, "Just give me $20. I don't know. I
Yeah.
need to see if this is like even a thing." And it was fabulous. I'm actually going on to my 3rd in May. I'll be doing my 3rd event, and it's just getting bigger and bigger. I'll say that I after the 2nd one, I did a, like, early access, like, "Hey, if you're interested in hearing about the next one, like, get on this list to be, like, an early
Yep.
access person." So I'll, like, text you, like, "Hey, like, tickets are on sale for the next one, not public yet." Sold out in 90 minutes. I didn't even get to go public with it. I posted it to I think I shared it with everyone on my early access list, and within, yeah, 90 minutes, it sold. I even had to still sell my own reformer because I was like, "Oh, I wanna take the class," and I was like, "Oh, I gotta give it up," and so I sold
Wow.
in 90 minutes. I have a growing wait list. There's something here. There's something here. I think that we're in a time where people are craving community, closeness, girlhood. Like I just think
Yes.
that we're in such a special space. And also like I'm in LA. There's so many people here. There's so many pockets that there's room for everyone to have a space. And I'm thrilled that I can build something with my community and help give people a place to go.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I love all of this, and I have to share something with you because I'm let's see, this is my 2nd event. I'm doing the same thing in Dallas.
I was like, "I wanna go."
So, I feel the same way. I'm like, I feel like women are just craving, not that, like, mean girl energy, like, "You can't sit with us." It's, like, very inclusive. It's like, "Let's get together. We are so powerful in numbers, so, like, let's get together." And I'm actually planning my birthday event.
Are you gonna do like an event, like a wellness event?
Yes, so it's in May because my birthday's May 18th, so it's May
Okay,
16th.
cool, happy early birthday.
Thank you. And doing, like, the curated goodie bags, and just really I do things that I put on my heart or, like, that are put on my heart. So, I really felt like instead of because I hate celebrating my birthday. So, I was like, instead of I know.
I can't. I'm like, "Oh, Leo moon over here," where I'm like, "My birthday."
You're like, "It's my month." So, I was like, "I wanna give back." So, I found a local women's shelter, and I was like, "Everything is, gonna go to this, like, we're gonna have raffles, like, ticket sales are gonna go towards this, everybody bring clothes that I can take and donate." Because 'cause I'm
Love
like,
that.
there's nothing better than women supporting women. So, it's a women's shelter, and I was like, this is, like, the next wave of what people are craving."
Yes, yes. Do you mind if I steal your idea and I contact a local women's shelter?
Yes, take it. We just need to reach as many women as possible.
We do, and I love that you're doing that. How do you like find that experience, like curating these like special events? Do you like enjoy it beyond belief, like I do?
I don't know if I enjoy the final product.
Okay,
Like,
yeah, I know that feeling.
yeah, like, I got my, I guess, event group, whatever, is called the Wild Love Intention Club.
I love it.
So it's like cherries and it's red and it's kinda, like, whimsical, and so I got Pilates socks with little cherries on them, and
Yeah.
so it's kind of like my little I don't know, I love making things look cute.
I hear that. Yes, I love that. I'm
So
glad I can go.
I know, I'm like, "How can we actually, like, bring these 2 together?"
Mhm. We need to
Dallas
bring
and
like
LA.
Dallas and LA.
Yes.
Party time.
So tell me about your event, because I wanna share it because I have a lot of people that are in LA.
Well, I wish I could. There's no more spots for
Oh
them
my
to.
gosh, it's already sold out?
It's sold out, everything is sold out, I have a wait list, I have people
Yay.
mad at me that I didn't tell them I'm like, "You're not on the early access list, I'm sorry, you missed out."
I
So,
love this.
yeah, so there'll be another one. I'm sure
Okay. You have
that I'm
found your calling.
and I don't even know how it just happened. It just happened and I love it and I'm having the best time. And I think that people should be doing things that make them happy. And so I'm like, I'm just gonna keep doing this because it makes me happy.
Yeah. I got to a point where I got over the, like, long-term goals, and I really started focusing on, like, what makes me happy in the moment.
Exactly.
And I'm like, "This makes me happy in the moment." I don't
Yeah.
expect to become like maybe the next Oprah of events and, really just go all out there. But I'm
Yeah.
like, if I can impact 10 people by doing this and connect, because I love connecting people.
Me
So if I
too.
can connect women with other women and then they eventually help each other out, like that's what
Yeah.
makes me so happy.
Job is done.
Yeah.
I get that. I get that. I think that's so important. And I love what you said, like no mean girl energy, like no secret haters. Like, let's just be like, just have a good time. Let's just all be together and
Right.
enjoy community, enjoy being together, celebrating everyone. Like, it's so important. And I love that. And I love that.
Yeah.
Like, that's really is the direction that everyone's going in right now. And I'm grateful that it's happening in a time when, like, I don't know, that I found something that I enjoy, which is Pilates and fitness. And then these events have sort of like been built on top of that. And
Yes.
now I'm going to bring in my people to what makes me happy and be like, okay, you guys come into my Pilates circle, and do Pilates.
Yes.
And then it's growing from there, and I have girlfriends that are now going to Pilates because they came to my event and they had a great time and they realized Pilates is for me. I love it, and then now they're going regularly. So it's amazing to like have that influence on people.
Yeah. This is gonna go a little deep, and I'm not a therapist, so if I'm completely wrong, just be like, "No." But do you feel like you feel called to do these events and bring people into your happy place because you didn't really get that invite? Like, you curated your own life, and you were
Yeah.
like, "I wanna go to Pilates, I wanna try it," and you had the confidence and courage to go try something new.
Yeah.
But, like, maybe if you'd had the event and someone saying, like, "Come with me," you would have been more I don't know if it's, like, more comfortable,
Yeah.
but you would have been, like, more open to it.
'Cause I never really thought about that, but it makes sense. It does make sense. And I think that's also why people are drawn to coming to them because like we were talking about earlier, like I'm I'm not like some fitness guru girl, Pilates princess. I'm just a girl who started doing Pilates and working out and taking care of themselves. And it's changed me, but it hasn't. And so I think there's like a relatability there where like people in my community, people in my circle, like, well, if Alana can do it, I can do it too. And I'm like, yes, like,
Yes.
let's do it. Like, you can do it. And so there's also like, I also just love being with people and I love connecting people, as you were saying too. So, like, any way that I can just like get everybody together
Yes.
and just have fun and spend time together, make memories, like, that's my biggest priority.
Yes. I will say, I know we've talked about it so much, but Pilates in LA specifically is terrifying.
No, why?
Like, those first couple classes, like, especially when you don't know what you're doing, you don't know the moves, you're walking into a class of, like, 10 people and, they're all it's almost like if you went into a CrossFit class
Oh,
and you're like, you see all these people who clearly do this probably, like, 7 times a week, and you're like, "I just want this to be a hobby because
yeah,
I like the benefits of it." And so it especially in LA, like, where they have Solid Core and they have, like, Carrie's Pilates, and they have all these very intense classes.
yes.
I remember taking classes and being like, "Oh my gosh."
I started with intro classes because I was so like, I'm such a newbie at this. The studio, and I know not all studios have this. So I happened to find a studio that offered like a beginner style class. And
Mhm.
I think that really helped me. I think if I had tried just jumping into a regular class, I would have gotten discouraged and like, I don't
Yeah.
know about but I went to beginner class, and again, I'll go back to my amazing instructor, Marianne, like, I think she also was a big part of it too because she was teaching me beginner classes, she knew kinda how to challenge us without making it scary or too hard, and I remember, like, asking my husband, like, after, I don't know, class 7, being like, "Do you think I'm ready for the next class, the regular class?" And he was like,
Yeah.
"No, you should try it." And I was like, "Okay." And I went and I could do it. And that was such an amazing feeling. But I think it's really because I took like these baby steps to get there. So I
Yeah.
could definitely see how it would be very intimidating for someone to be like, "Ugh, what are
Yeah.
they doing?" Because there's some crazy moves we do in there where I'm like, "I don't know." My leg moves that way.
Yeah, or like the balancing where they're like, "You have to go up on the box, and then you're on your tippy toes, and then you're moving." I'm like,
Mhm.
"I think I'm gonna fall." Like, if
Yeah,
I
the ball between your feet, and you're like, "Oh."
yeah, like, if I blink funny, I'm gonna fall.
Yeah. Have you ever fallen off the machine?
Never.
No.
Have you
I've almost, like, the
I've caught myself, but I've never and I maybe this goes into my older, like, mindset shift, 'cause I'm a chronic overthinker with terrible anxiety, so I've had to go to therapy and really be like, "Why am I worrying about things that don't actually exist? They're, like, made up in my brain."
I feel that.
And so I always think that I'm gonna fall, that I'm going to like, I have these thoughts that I'm gonna, like, break bones, like, just completely fall in Pilates. Never once have I fallen.
I hear those thoughts because I get them too, and I'm like, one of these days, I'm just gonna." Oh.
I saw a TikTok. This is not me to bash Pilates because I love it, but
We love Pilates here.
I love Pilates, but it went into my, like, obtrusive thoughts because it showed somebody on a reformer, but these studios were getting them off of, like, Temu, and so they, like, weren't
Oh,
weight distributed or anything, and people were, like, falling off of them, and I'm like, "I need to not watch this." Like, "Nope. No, no, no.
no. That's not gonna happen, it's not gonna happen.
No, do not put it out in the universe."
We speak not good positivity, right? We're like, "That's never gonna happen to us."
No. That never
Only
happened.
good things. We're lucky girls. I believe deeply in lucky girl syndrome. We're lucky girls, and lucky things will always happen for us.
Love it.
That's how I get through life these days. It's like I try to listen to, like, positive music that, like, is all about self-love and joy and a beautiful life, and then just tell myself, like, "Everything's gonna work out. It's gonna be amazing. There's nothing to worry about."
Yeah, I have a very specific routine now, and I don't know I'm 36, I'm gonna be 37 next month, so I'm not saying I'm old, but I understand why, like, my grandpa and my grandma used to have very specific routines because it's like when it works, like, I start my morning with, like, mellow music,
Mhm.
and I make a tea for my wellness, and I just, like, really try to ground myself.
Yeah,
I'm getting into my old lady world, but, like, what do you do?
that's okay.
I love old lady life. But what do you do, like, when life gets chaotic? Like, what are some grounding things that you do?
I exercise. I That's probably where I go to, like, take if I'm having, like, a crazy day, I'm like, "I need to go to boxing, like, I need to get this out." Or maybe it's just been, like, a stressful week, I'm like, "Oh, let me just go to hot yoga." And again, these are crazy words for me to say because I went 30 something years without regularly exercising, and so to be like, "Oh, yeah, I go work out now." I'm like, "Who is she?"
Yeah.
But I think when life, I think about work and I think about, there was a point in time where I worked too much. I worked a lot. I was very unhealthy. I wasn't taking care of myself. I was prioritizing my work. I wasn't, doing anything but that. And I got myself into a really, really dark, awful place just because, I wasn't thinking about my own well being. And so one of the promises that I made to myself as kind of part of my the 75 soft kicked it off as like, no, I'm going to prioritize my health, my well being over everything. And so, for the most part, and with minor exceptions, um, if I have a class booked and something's going on at work, I'm very like, "Hey, I have to pause. I have to go to this workout. I'll get back to it when I'm done." And that really centers me in also remembering like what is the most important to me. Like my job is important. I love my job. Like I've been doing it for a long time, but I'm not going to show up as my best self if I'm not taking care of myself. And
Yes.
so if I'm not making the time, if I'm not stepping aside to go to the class or go for the walk or whatever it is that I need to do, that I'm not showing up in my best light at work. And so that's really a way that I kind of approach life now is thinking about like everything is like a pie, and work is a piece of my pie. And
Mhm.
my wellness is a piece of the pie, my husband and my family. And, these are
Yeah.
all parts of it, and I'm like, "If work was the whole pie, that would be so boring." Like,
Yes.
I can't do that. I
Yep.
need to, like, have a lot of different aspects of me. Like you were talking about earlier, like people being complex, like they like fitness, they also like to eat cake. Like
Yeah,
we're such complex humans, and it's so important to like keep the balance
for
in
sure.
life and prioritize joy and wellness and happiness and all of those things. So, like, when chaos starts to happen, it's sort of like honing in on, okay, what really matters here? Like, who's around me? Where is my energy going to go? Like, and at the end of the day, you're like, I got to take care of me.
Yes, and I think one of the biggest mindset shifts when you have a health scare is like, "Okay, let's bring it back to the basics." And I love what you said about how you use your workouts as, like, a calm to the chaos,
Mhm.
because I do the same. When I'm working out, like, if I listen to my body and what I'm feeling. So if it's been
Mhm.
a long day at work and I've been sitting and just staring at a computer all day, I'm like, "I need to take a yoga class." Like, I really need to, like, just, let it all go. Or if I feel like work may be slow or, I'm like, I want to wake up at 5 and take an F45 class, or I'm going to do the harder Pilates. Like, I really try to mesh it with what my body needs. But I always schedule my workouts because they are such a priority for me on Sunday. So I use ClassPass and I'm
Me
like,
too. I love ClassPass.
I love
Is there
ClassPass.
Caitlin ClassPass? Like,
We just love you. But it helps keep me accountable, partially because of those, like, fees if you cancel.
yes. They're
But
like,
then
$14 to cancel. No, thank you.
I know, I'm like, I don't wanna go, but I also don't wanna pay $14. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna go. But it helps me prioritize myself. Like, I'm like, "No, this hour," and I
Mhm.
work out probably 3 times a week, 2 to 3 times a week. I'm like, "This hour is mine." Everything else can move around it. My boyfriend, I'm like, "Sorry, I already booked it, and no, I'm not canceling it." Or, my kids wanna do something, and I'm like, "After my workout,
Yeah.
sure." You
But that's
know?
amazing. I love that. You
Like
gotta
like
carve that time out for yourself.
yeah, like, I feel like us as women, we do so much for
Mhm.
other people. It's like we have to give, like, at least a sliver of it back to ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. And it's also a really good example to other people around you. Like, I don't have kids, but I feel like, carving out that time for yourself and taking care of yourself is so important to be like a role model for others, to be like, like you are important. And I'm
Yeah.
going to make sure that, like, everybody around me knows that I have value. And that means I get to go and do the things that I enjoy doing and taking care of myself too.
Yeah, and then you should too. Like, anybody who follows you on social, it's like, you should care about yourself. You should take that time. You deserve it.
Absolutely.
I love this conversation. Okay, so this might be a juicy one. What is something you wish you could tell your past self?
What is something? I don't know if I would, if
No?
that makes sense. I don't know if I would say anything to her because I needed to get here, however that way that was.
Yeah.
So I think maybe if anything, it's just keep going. Like,
Yeah.
keep going. Just you'll figure it out and you'll end up where you need to be. Because I truly believe that every moment, every interaction, every relationship, everything that happened is just like leading me in the direction that I need to go. And if it's meant for me, it will find me. I don't chase, I attract. It's one of my favorite mantras.
Yes.
So I don't know if I would go. I just say, keep it up. You
Yeah.
got you'll get there. 'Cause I don't know if things I told myself something different or if I butterfly effect, if I changed something about the
Yeah.
way I should have, then would I be her now? Would I appreciate my body and what it can do now if I hadn't kind of I was 60 pounds heavier, like, I wasn't well, and it's like, I appreciate this body because of what she can do, and I
Yeah.
think I just needed to go through everything that I went through to know that, to
Yeah.
appreciate.
Yeah, you had to build it.
Yeah, so I would say, "Keep going, girl, you got this."
Yeah, and I think that that's, like, a really beautiful thing too because we always get there,
Mhm.
right? Like, maybe we have this dream and it's like we envision this life for ourselves. We don't necessarily know how to get there. And you kinda just, like, you have a decision, and you're like, "Does this get me closer to my goal or does it get me farther from my goal?" You just take one little step forward and you're like, "Okay, that helped me a little bit." And then you keep going and then I tell my boyfriend a lot because we're both very entrepreneurial and I'm like, "You have to stop sometimes and look around and think like this is all that you ever dreamed about. This is like the things you're complaining about are the things you prayed about 10 years ago."
Yes, 100%.
It's like once and I get that way too, like my overthinking and anxious self where I'm like, I look back and I'm like, "Okay, the things that I'm complaining about are really like what I envisioned my life for."
Mhm.
So like just
That's so beautiful. I love that. That's like that 2016 trend because we're 10 years out of 2016, if you can believe that. And it's like, who were you in 2016? What were you doing? And like, if 2016 you could see 2026 you.
oh, I think she'd be very happy. Yeah.
So
Okay, so I think my last thing is what would speaking to our Love in the Wild community, what is something that you hope everybody can just take away from this episode?
just be your most authentic self and do whatever it is that makes you happy, as long as it doesn't hurt other people. It's like, do what makes you happy, celebrate you and who you are and what you love, and just who cares about what anyone else thinks because the people who love you and appreciate you or will someday appreciate you, they're going to be attracted to who you are as your most authentic self. And that's the most important thing. We don't have time. We don't have time to be anybody else. Like we don't have time to pretend. We don't have time to, it's just be you and love life. It's too
Yes,
short.
I love it because it's so exhausting pretending
It
someone
is.
else.
Life is exhausting. So, like, I feel like we're really leaning into like the whimsy, like the whimsical time frame where everyone's like, "Oh, I'm so whimsy," and I'm like, "Yes, absolutely, be as whimsical as humanly possible. Like, we have free will. Let's be whimsy."
Right, and, like, let's just have fun with it. Like, let's just be little silly gooses sometimes and, there's a time to be like a go-getter, there's a time to be a silly goose, and just kinda, like, flow
All
through
things
it.
can be true. We are complex creatures. All things can be true. I'm a type A, but I'm also whimsical. So, like, I don't know how it works, but I am. I'm both. She
Same,
can do it all.
same. I, like, clock into work mode, and I'm like, "Boom, boom, boom," and then I get out, and I'm like, "I don't know where my keys are," and, I, like, just keep my phone and a card, and I'm like, "Everything else will work itself out. I have Apple Pay."
Everything always works out, it's believing that, like, it's all gonna work out, it's all gonna be okay. As long as you're yourself and you're just doing what makes you happy, everything's gonna be okay.
It literally always works out.
It really does. I actually saw you posted as I was following your TikTok, and you posted something that was like, "Oh, shoot, what was it?" You
It
posted
was the one where it's like you worry a lot for someone who's always
Yes,
figured it out.
yes, and I was like,
Yeah,
"Yes,
'cause I
100%."
talk to myself a lot in those my TikToks and my Instagram. I'm like, "What do I need to hear?"
Yeah. I I think that's also important too, is, like, what do you wanna see? And, like, post that or be that because, like, why not?
Yes.
Because
Yep.
if you want it, other people probably want that.
Yes.
So, I don't know.
I
I feel so
love it.
random. I'm like, I was so random. On this, like, journey on this call.
I know, and, like, there have to be so many other women that are on this journey, of,
Yeah.
like, maybe they're just fed up with the shit and, like,
Mhm.
they're like, "I'm done trying to fit into a single box." Like, I
Yes.
wanna be a complex creature. I want to, work out so that I can have wine, or I wanna work out so I can have cake. Like, I don't have to,
You don't
you
have to
know
be one thing, and you don't have to be anybody for anyone. Like,
Right,
you have to be someone for you,
right.
truly.
Yeah.
That's the best part, is being you for yourself is gonna build
Mhm.
your community and make you an even more stronger, confident person.
Yay, I love it. Well, thank you so much, Alana. Like,
Of
I
course,
feel like
thank you, Caitlin. I hope we got some good stuff.
we did. We're just, like, stepping into our next journey of life and, like, being, like, unapologetic women. I love it.
Yes. Absolutely. That's my favorite thing to be.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. I'll talk to you soon.
Alana, thank you so much for sharing your story today. I feel like this conversation really captured what it means to grow into yourself in a real, honest way without rushing it or pretending it's linear. There's something really powerful about hearing how wellness isn't just about routines or discipline, but about identity and learning how to build a life that actually feels good to live in. For anyone listening, if you're in the middle of your own version of figuring it out, I hope this reminded you that it's okay to evolve slowly, to try things, to outgrow things, and to redefine what feeling good even means to you. Alana, I'm really grateful you are here today. I loved this conversation. And everyone listening, you know where to find us. We'll be back soon with another episode of Love in the Wild.